Here we go with another great episode.
Hello and welcome to the show. My very special guest this evening, Moore Marriott. How are you two, sir? How are you two, gentlemen?
We're pretty good, thanks. Yeah, not bad at all.
Thanks for having us.
You're more than welcome, more than welcome. Please do introduce yourselves, if you may.
My name's Ian, and this is Adam.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Let's find out what really inspires you two as a band.
Lots and lots of stuff, really. I mean, musically, sort of classic artists, really. People like Tom Waits, Scott Walker, Van Morrison, the band, people like that. But we also do a lot more sort of singer-songwriter stuff. So, quite big fans of people like Ronnie Lane and Neil Finn and Elliott Smith. Some of our material's a bit along those lines as well. So many and varied influences, really.
Wow. And when did you start?
When did we start? Well, me and Adam have been working together for a long time. We played. Basically, we got together. We were in a band in the 90s, and we played in a few bands in the 90s where we were the rhythm section. I was the drummer, and he was the bass player.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of when those bands sort of collapsed or finished, in the end, we remained friends and just started to work together, just writing our own material and started to record stuff. And that ended up in an album that we put out a long time ago now, in 2005. And we did that, and off the back of that, we did quite a few gigs and over the next few years. But in the end, for whatever reason, it kind of petered out. It was quite hard work. We called in a lot of favours from friends and musicians, and just keeping a band together is really, really difficult. To go and do gigs. So we kind of always just whittled it down to the two of us, really. And but basically, we've had quite a long hiatus. We did actually record another album to follow up that one, but we just never, life just got in the way, basically, and we just never got around to finishing that and doing stuff. And we were just basically making our living from music, because we both teach music, or Adam used to, doesn't anymore, but we were teaching music and going out gigging and earning money from gigs. So we were doing covers and functions and stuff like that, just to earn our daily crust. But all the while, we've had all our original material on the back burner, and we've been beavering away at it. And it kind of came to fruition, really, or things really started getting going again, actually in lockdown, where I think a lot of creatives sort of hunkered down, and because there was no gigs, there was no other jobs to get in the way, we just cracked on and did tons and tons of recording. Separately, I'd do a load of stuff at my place, email it to Adam, he'd work on stuff, and then we just kind of put it together like that. And so a lot of the songs, the recent songs that we put out, they started life during lockdown in maybe sort of somewhere between March 21 and March 20 and 21 or whatever it was, and then we've just been basically working on those and trying to finish those and get them into some shape that we really like. And then we've just got really into sort of creating little videos for our stuff. So that's kind of where we are. We've had like a big hiatus, but we kind of feel like we're back in the groove again now, don't we? Yeah. And we're kind of on with it, which is great. And it's great to be doing stuff like this and just finally putting things out there, really.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, from what I've heard so far of your stuff, I actually rather like it, I must admit.
Thank you. Cheers.
You're welcome. And you've mentioned Van Morrison and people like that as well, but who are your influences?
Well, very much like the people that I mentioned there. There's people like Tom Waits. I love Tom Waits just because it's just warped brilliance, really, and it's everything from his early sort of singer-songwriter stuff, his early albums, right through to the just off-the-wall guttural blues stuff that he comes out with. There's nothing that doesn't appeal to me on that, and so he's and what I like about him is that eclecticness of his back catalogue and stuff like that. And although, you know, and I kind of think, not that I would ever liken us to Tom Waits or anything, because we're just not in that sort of league, but that's one of those influences. So the songs that we've been putting out recently, are all on that sort of darker side. So we've just decided to kind of group songs together, just in terms of like a listener, so there's not too much of a change. And we just thought we'd put them together in little EPs. And so we've got other stuff that will be coming out that won't sound like the stuff that we've just put out. It'll be that we've got some sort of more acoustic-based stuff, which is a bit more, like I said, Elliott Smith type of vibe about it. We've got some more sort of folky stuff, which has got fiddles on it and things like that in the pipeline. And we've also got some rockier tunes as well, which are a bit more straightforward. So, like I say, influences all over the shop, really. You know, there's many varied. Adam's a massive Neil Young fan, so that influences his guitar playing and stuff like that, and sort of production as well. Adam's the sort of production half of the team, if you like. It's his specialism. So I kind of leave him to do that, and you know, I kind of write most of the songs, but we do have co-writes on quite a few things. And obviously, Adam's fairly creative with his musical parts and everything else like that. I don't really tell him what to play or anything like that. Just to kind of get on with it, you know. Yeah. So it's very much a musical partnership, and it kind of works. You know, the yin and yang of it kind of works, and because we've been mates for so long, you know, we can kind of be straight with each other as well. So it's good. Sorry, I've rambled on a bit there.
That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, I'm going to ask both of you now anyway. But how would you describe your music? What would you say was your genre?
Oh, do you know what? That's a difficult one. Just based on what I just said. But I'd say we were like, I'd say we were kind of alternative in a way. Only in the way that artists like Elliott Smith would be seen as that sort of an alt sort of singer-songwriter. It's not like it's Taylor Swift or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not massively mainstream chart, but it's more of a, I would say, for more of a discerning listener that likes melody and likes those sort of artists we've talked about. So yeah, I would say it was more sort of alt, you know, indie pop, alt rock, folk singer-songwriter. I don't know. It's all, you know, weaves in between those sort of things. I think there are a lot of influences, and when we release some more of this stuff later in the year, you'll if you choose to have a listen, you'll be able to hear what I'm on about, basically.
I mean, I must admit, on the Radio V75 playlist, we have got down as rock stroke blues. So
right, okay.
So you know, it just gives me an idea as well as station manager as well. So you know, I've often wondered this: where did your name come from, Moore Marriott?
All right, okay.
Very good question. It is a very good answer there.
Well, where it comes from. One of the hardest things, I think most people will tell you this, musicians in bands, is to think of a decent band name. And at the time, we were kind of racking our brains at what to call ourselves, and I wanted something fairly original, and I wanted something that sounded sort of British in a way. And so where it comes from is this: as a young kid, I used to sit down and watch old black and white films with my dad, and he was into all these old comics that were kind of like music hall guys and things like that, and they ended up doing films in the 40s and 50s and stuff. Yeah. And
the old Saturday matinee sort of things on BBC Two,
all that sort of stuff. And one of the guys that he really liked was Will Hay, who was like one of these 40s comedians, and he did lots and lots of films. Probably not the most PC of things to look at now, but the other, Will Hay always had two co-stars with him on a lot of films. There was a big guy called Graham Moffat, and there was this little guy, wizened old guy called Moore Marriott, and that was the actor's name. And I just kind of like the way it kind of rolled off the tongue a little bit, and it's a bit of a tribute to him. And strangely enough, when we did the first album and stuff like that, a member of his family actually got in touch with us and stuff. So it was quite nice to touch base with them. And I did say to him, it's very much a tribute. We're not trying to rip him off or anything like that. Sadly, he's long since passed away. But yeah, that's kind of where it comes from, really. It was a bit of an homage to my childhood and watching black and white films with my dad, who again, and it obviously makes me think of my dad as well, and he's not around anymore. So it's one of those things, really. It's a bit of nostalgia where it came from, and a bit of a tribute, and it wanting to be just different from any other name.
Yeah, it certainly does stand out. I must admit, it does stand out. I just love the name, and I love the music as well. So yeah,
thank you.
Finally, let's wrap this up. Have you got any future plans apart from what you've already talked about? Obviously, you've got albums in the pipeline and stuff like that. But any sort of gigs or anything like that?
Well, in terms of gigs, as yet we haven't. Although we would love to get out there and do a bit of promotional stuff on with this new material. So at some point, perhaps later in the year, I think we will be doing something. But there's no gigs booked or anything like that at the moment. In terms of the future plans, well, our current plan is this. We're going to continue to release stuff. Probably we're going to do it using the format of EPs, like I was saying, because we've got quite a lot of material. And the music business, the way it is these days, and people don't seem to be able to cope with listening to an album these days, which I find a little bit baffling, but not surprising in a way. So we are. The intention is to carry on releasing some EPs and backing those up with some video creations.
Video for every song. We think we've got enough stuff to keep us going, like one release every month for probably the next 2 years. 2.5 years.
We've got an awful lot of material, so it's just keeping up with that and keeping going, really, and just having a good time with it. Really, we're quite enjoying it. It's not like we're quite long in the tooth, as you can probably see. We've been doing it a long time, so we've got no ambitions in terms of
no.
Well, we have got ambitions, but not in terms of like that we're going to be world dominating pop stars or anything like that. It's not about that.
The ambition is to just keep creating.
Yeah.
And because we've done so much, it's like we can't just keep it here on the computer. We can put it out on the internet. We could do a half decent video that's going to keep people entertained and draw them into the music. And we're just really enjoying that. So that's our ambition.
Yes,
is to keep on being creative and enjoying it. And it's just a bonus. It's a big bonus when people like yourself come along and say, "I like this stuff." And people sort of like picking up on it.
Yeah, we just
massive boost.
We just need to get a bit more savvy on social media and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like to sort of do anything these days, you've got to spend about 7 hours a day on stuff. Haven't you? On TikTok and Instagram and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. And I'll be honest, we haven't got 7 hours a day to do that. So we're kind of doing our best in our own sweet way to promote our own music, and I'm sure we'll get a bit more into it. I know we're well behind the curve on stuff, but we're just enjoying putting stuff out there, like Adam said, and just getting some nice feedback, and hopefully our audience will grow slowly but surely.
Well, I can honestly say, hand on heart, speaking on behalf of Radio V75, we're certainly going to support you guys anyway.
Thank you very much. We'll really appreciate that. We really do.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Moore Marriott.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.